Welcome, I'm Deronda with Foods 101. Today I'm showing you how to make these old-fashioned fried apple pies from a cast iron skillet. I watched my grandmother do this as I was growing up, and now I want to share it with all of you. Now the filling you're going to need for these fried apple pies are anywhere from 5 to 6 cups of a real tart apple such as a Granny Smith apple, and this is about 4 to 5 cups of cubed apples. I've got a tablespoon of butter, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a tablespoon of water, and this is what I'm going to add to the topping of our fried apple pies. This is like 4 teaspoons of sugar to 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm going to set this off to the side. And then you're going to need a half of a cup of sugar. So let me show you how we're going to make the dough. The ingredients you're going to need is 1 1/4 cups of self-rising flour, a half a cup of buttermilk, 1 egg, and 1/4 of a cup of all vegetable shortening. Now I've gone ahead and cubed this. And if you don't have self-rising flour, check out my instructions below in the description box on how to make self-rising flour using all-purpose flour. To make the apple pie filling, I'm melting my butter in a large frying pan over medium heat. I'm adding those fresh diced apples along with the half a cup of sugar and the half teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, the idea here is to cook these until they're soft and mushy. That's going to take about 15 minutes, and I'll come back and show you how they've cooked up. The pie filling has completely cooked, and if you could smell the apples and the cinnamon and the sugar and the butter, oh my goodness, it smells so delicious, and there's a touch of fall in the air. Now make sure you take this off the burner and let your pie filling cool completely before adding it to your pie dough. So come on over here and I'll show you how to make the pie dough. Add your flour to a larger bowl along with your shortening. And now we're going to cut the shortening into the self-rising flour. Now I like this pastry blender. This is one of my favorite tools when I'm blending in shortenings to flours. You're going to continue doing this until you get like a cornmeal texture on your flour and shortening here. And that looks about right. And now we're adding the egg to the buttermilk. Just like that. Give it a nice little whisking. And now you're going to add this to your flour and your shortening. Make a well in the bottom of your flour and shortening. Add the buttermilk and egg. And bring your flour to the center of your wet ingredients. Just like that. And now we're going to dump this out onto a lightly floured surface, and we're going to divide it into 4 equal parts. Flour your surface, and then out with your pie dough. Just want to get a little flour on it. And now, just using a knife, I'm going to divide it in half. You want to make sure your knife has a little flour on it too. Divide it in half again, and then each quarter you're going to divide in half. That way you're going to have 8 fried pies, and you have the exact amount of dough, and they'll be all in equal proportions. Now you're just going to take one of the 8 pieces of dough, and you're going to roll it into a little ball. And now we're going to roll it out with a rolling pin. So you want to make it flat. And roll it into about 6 inches by 8 inches. Circle. And that looks about good. Alright, if it sticks, add a little bit more flour to the surface. Look how beautiful that is. Alright, continue doing them until you get them about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. My pie filling's completely filled. I've got all my dough rolled out, and now I'm going to show you how to assemble them. So, let's start with one of our 6-inch or 8-inch round dough rings. And then I'm just going to add about 2 teaspoons of pie filling in here. And then you're going to close it over like this. And to make sure that it seals properly, you can see that. Let me fold it right back. You're going to add a little water around the edges. Just like that. Alright, then you're going to pull it together. And using a fork, you're going to make the edges of the pie by just crimping them with a fork. That'll make sure that it seals and none of your pie filling is going to leak out during the frying process. Alright, now I'm going to sit these over here, and if you want you can trim it up a little bit. Not necessary, but you may with the end of your fork there. And now I put these over on a cookie sheet and complete the rest, and then they go to the cast iron skillet for frying. Off to the frying pan. I've got 3/4 of a cup of canola oil, or you may use vegetable oil, heating over medium heat. Now, to make sure your oil's hot before you add your apple pies, drop a piece of bread in. If it sizzles, you know it's ready for your apple pies. So out it comes, and in with the apple pies. You're only going to want to fry about 2 at a time. That way your pan can stay the temperature it needs to be to get these golden on the outside and nice and tender and delicious on the inside. These are going to fry about 1.5 minutes on each side. 1.5 minutes is up. Time to give them a flip. And looky there, how beautiful and golden that is. And then they're going to cook another 1.5 minutes on this side. Oh my goodness, they smell absolutely fabulous. I've taken my fried apple pies out of the skillet, and I'm going to sprinkle them with that sugar and cinnamon generously. And you're just going to get a burst of flavor. Now, 2 apple pies down, 6 more to go. Time to give these old-fashioned fried apple pies a try. I was going to eat it with a fork, but I figured why not just eat it with my hands. So look at this side with the cinnamon and the sugar, and then I wanted to show you how beautiful and golden brown that side is. I'm just going to pull it open, and then on the inside you can see how light and airy that pie crust is, and then you can see those fried apples on the inside. And now I gotta give it a try. The dough is very nice and tender and very crunchy. The inside is really sweet, loaded with cinnamon and those delicious tender fresh apples. You're going to be amazed. Hope y'all give these a try. Old-fashioned fried pies from a cast iron skillet. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.